What's up everyone, welcome back to another YouTube video. As you can tell, I'm not in my normal home office setting. That's because my wife and I were currently in Paris right now. We're in France taking a little time away, but I wanted to make this video on how I approach packing for a trip. Now, I want to go more specifically into the tech that I brought with me, my storage solutions, and also a little guide on how I pack my clothing. I feel like a lot of people sometimes struggle with overpacking or not knowing what to bring. So if you're thinking about taking a trip soon or you travel often, you might find this video helpful. So let's get right into it. So first things first, let's go into the tech that I usually bring with me on my trips and what I brought with me on this one. As you can see in front of me, I have a little makeshift desk setup going on. That's because obviously when you're traveling, you can't pack your huge computer with you. But let's go into this little setup that I have and all the accessories. So at the core of it, we have the MacBook M1 Pro 14-inch. I've talked about this in other videos. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of the 14 inches because it's a bit smaller. I appreciate having a smaller, more portable size because I'd rather have that over more screen real estate. Now, the laptop is sitting on this stand that I picked up off Amazon. It's a minimal stand that just opens up in literally seconds and it's height adjustable. I like having the laptop at more of an eye level just because when you're looking down at the screen too often, it can kind of put some strain on your neck or your back. It's not good for just overall your posture and whatnot. So I really like bringing this laptop stand with me. As you can see, I'm rocking a separate keyboard and a mouse. Now this is the MX Mechanical Mini for Mac by Logitech. I can't really speak to the quality of it from like an expert standpoint because I don't customize these too often. However, I have been using this for a while now, and just from an average consumer standpoint, from a creative who uses the keyboard a lot, I personally really love this keyboard. The quality is solid, the build is sturdy, it doesn't feel cheap at all. It feels really actually high quality and expensive. It's specifically designed for Mac, so the command keys are all there. It feels very natural to when I'm working on my actual MacBook itself. All the keys are customizable through Logitech's app, and also you can hook it up to 3 different Mac devices. So right now it's hooked up to my laptop, but I could hook it up to my iMac at home and also my iPad Pro. And so being able to switch seamlessly with just the click of a button between 3 different Apple devices is great, because then I could use the same keyboard for everything. It also has automatic backlighting, which is great because sometimes these portable keyboards don't have backlighting. You just hover your hands over the keyboard and it just automatically turns on or illuminates. And I'm pairing this keyboard with the Logitech MX Master 3S. Now this is their newest version of the MX Master mouse that I typically use. It's a lot quieter now. I don't know if you guys can, you literally can't, I'm clicking the mouse right now. You could probably barely hear the clicking sound. Yeah, it's so much quieter. I didn't actually realize that the clicking sound bothered me until I went back to my 3 for a little bit for something, and now I'm using this one and I can't go back. This is like the most comfortable mouse. I'm a big fan of Logitech products, but especially their 4 Mac line, because it just I use all Apple products, so being able to just use their products seamlessly with all my Apple products is really great. So that is pretty much the desk setup that I rock when I'm traveling, but let's go into some of the other essential tech items that I love to bring with me. So the first one is this Huawei mobile Wi-Fi hotspot, I guess you could say. But when you travel internationally, like right now, we're in France and I have a US SIM. So when I have data, usually data roaming charges incur from my phone carrier services. I think it's like $10 a day for me, which isn't terrible. But still, when you're gone for like 10 days at a time, that adds up. It's like $100. Basically, you get a local SIM card. So when I got at the airport, I got a European SIM card with about 20 gigs of data, and it's roughly between $20 and $30. I put this SIM card now, this local SIM, into the mobile hotspot, and then basically I turn it on and then I use it as Wi-Fi for my phone. Essentially, it's like having data locally, like with a European SIM card and a European phone carrier. So honestly, this has been clutch. If you are traveling internationally, you're kind of always a little bit nervous about roaming charges, and you just don't want to incur any extra fees. I would highly recommend this, especially if you need to get around, use maps, stream some videos, etc. Now, going in the theme of international travel, I would also recommend getting a travel plug adapter. in many different countries, they don't have the same adapters that in the place that you live in. Like I'm from the US, so the US plug is different than the plug they use here in Europe or Australia, etc. So getting an international plug adapter is really handy. I got this one off Amazon. I'll link it down below, but it's nice because it fits all the plugs that you need in this compact form, and it also comes with a little traveling case. Some travel adapters have all these like loose elements you gotta like swap out, which I don't like because I feel like I'll just lose them. So having it in one compact little brick like this is awesome. Also, my friend Ryan showed me this USB cable that I love to pack with me. It's basically a regular cable, but at the end of it, it's split into 3 different ports. So instead of just one port, it has 3 different ports. This one has a micro USB, a USB-C, and a lightning port cables. But now that I have this one cable that splits into 3 ends, I just plug in like 3 devices at a time. It doesn't really affect anything. The charges are still fast, and I love it. And I usually just pack like 2 of these with me now, and all my cable needs are kind of covered. Last but not least, my choice of camera when traveling is the Fujifilm X100V. Now, I've talked about this in previous videos, but this camera is amazing. I actually have been using it on this trip to shoot some B-roll. It actually shoots 4K, so I'll lay it over in this video. Some of the clips you're seeing was shot on the Fuji, and it's just awesome. The photos are great, the videos are great, and what I love about it is how small it is. Having the small form factor is great when traveling. Like even the FX3, like I'm shooting on it right now, it's small, especially if you have a smaller lens, like a zoom lens. It's not necessarily a big camera, but it still feels large, especially if you're just trying to throw it into like a sling or a backpack. And so having a compact camera is kind of an essential thing for me now when it comes to traveling. And so I love the Fujifilm, the colors, everything is really great about it. Now, if I need to put the camera on sticks or a tripod, like right now, you guys are watching this talking head and the camera's on a tripod, I love the Peak Design travel tripod. This is their carbon fiber version. I know they also have aluminum version, which is just as solid. But this tripod is mind-blowing. It literally gets so small. It literally fits down to the size of like a hydro flask, but it gets really tall. It has a adjustable ball head on it. It's super secure. Even though it's like really skinny, it never feels like flimsy as a tripod. This is the best travel tripod I've ever used, and I would seriously recommend it to anyone that asks about it. Next, let's talk about storage. Christina and I obviously are traveling, came to France, and we didn't want to overpack, and so we wanted to bring a carry-on where you don't have to check in a luggage or anything like that. So my carry-on of choice is actually the Away bag. This is not sponsored by Away or anything like that. This is a luggage that I've just been using for a really long time. I think like 4 years now. I've never had a hard time with it like breaking or any parts feeling cheap. It doesn't necessarily feel super rigid, but it doesn't feel like cheap and flimsy either. It's kind of in the middle. I think that's what they were going for, but it fits everything perfectly. Now, my backpack of choice that I usually bring with me is the Peak Design travel backpack. You'll notice a lot of especially the storage stuff, I've been using for years. It's not like I just picked this backpack up like for this one trip or for just like this week. I've been using these products for probably 4 or 5 years. Like the travel backpack from Peak Design, I've literally gone to Iceland with it. I've gone to Ireland with it. I've taken it with me to Australia. Like I've taken it everywhere, and it's held up so nicely. It fits so many items with ease. Obviously it's hard with a bigger backpack because even if it can fit a lot of stuff, it gets really heavy. So that's one downside you just can't avoid with backpacks. And I usually pack all my tech in here, so like cameras, mics, laptop, any kind of like accessories that are super important that I need to have on me and not necessarily on like a loose luggage or something that's not necessarily with me all the time. I'll put it into this bag if it's essential. In the backpack, I usually also have with me the Peak Design tech pouch. Won't talk about it for too long. It fits everything, SSDs. It even fits this Logitech mouse in there as well. MacBook charger, cables, the whole nine when it comes to these smaller tech accessories. It fits right into this little pouch nicely, and it goes right into my backpack. One of my smaller packs that I like to bring with me is this sling by Coat of Bell. This is I forgot the exact name of it actually, but I'll link it down below. It's a kind of crossbody sling that's a little bit larger, so it fits a good amount of stuff. It's not just like a fanny pack size, it's a little bit larger than that, and it has these like magnetic locks. Again, one of those products that are really thoughtful, really detail oriented, and honestly I just love the look of it. It kind of has this tactical vibe to it. I've been using it a lot as we've been walking around Paris, and it's really comfortable even for wearing it at 8 hours at a time. But I love bringing this sling with me to places if I know that I'm gonna be walking around for long periods in the day. If I don't want to be carrying like a backpack necessarily, I'll bring the sling with me if we're going to be needing access to like smaller items like wallets, phones, Wi-Fi hotspots, keys, all those things that I don't want to carry in my pocket. I'll put in the sling and bring with me. All right, so let's go into the essential clothing that I bring with me when it comes to traveling. Clothing is one of those things where if you don't do it properly, you're going to end up overpacking. You're going to end up having a ton of things with you, wasting a ton of space. And so the first thing I think about is obviously the sneakers. Shoes take up most space in my opinion when it comes to your luggage. So what shoes are you bringing? For me personally, I love trying to only bring one shoe on every trip. For this one in particular, I brought literally one pair of Nike Kill Shots. This is the all white or white on ivory colorway, and it matches with everything. You could dress it up, you could dress it down. It's comfortable. I could wear it for long stretches at a time, or just wear it for a quick trip to the grocery store. White sneakers are just a safe choice if you're looking to just bring one pair. Very rarely am I ever packing 3 pairs of shoes on a trip. Max 2. If I can do 1, that's like ideal. So white sneakers. Christine looking at me like not her packing 3 pairs of shoes right now on this trip to Paris. Now the next 3 types of items that I pack with me, I'm going to go into kind of my approach with them. So it always breaks down for me into shirts, outerwear, and pants. Now obviously there's like underwear, socks, and all the smaller things, but I'm not going to go into that, but just the big items, right? So for shirts, I usually bring a good rotation of neutral colors. So I have like black, gray, white. Sometimes I'll have like navy or something in there, but typically I try to bring like a neutral color palette with shirts, because then I could wear it with everything, or I could wear it multiple times. The type of pants that you bring should also be multifunctional. So for me, I have a cargo pants that I brought on this trip, a pair of joggers, and some denim type pants. I usually try not to bring the same type of pant, but like multiple of them. I feel like that's where people mess up and overpack. They'll bring like 4 or 5 different pairs of the same pants, and they'll end up wearing like one of them because it's their favorite one, and they all look the same. And that's how you waste space in your luggage. So for me, having like joggers and then having cargo pants and jeans, like having the mix of those, I use all of them on the trip, and I don't like nothing goes unused. And they also look good with all the different shirts that I brought, and I can rotate in between them, cross and mix match different types of outfits. And the last element of the luggage is going to be outerwear, like jackets. Jackets is also one of those big ticket items that take up so much space in your luggage, but you can do it in a smart way that is also save space. So for me, I usually bring a hoodie, like a small down jacket that's like really packable. You know, the ones that are like super thin that can get down to like a capsule size. I'll bring one of those because it's warm and it's small. And then I'll also bring like something nicer, like a outerwear jacket that has like buttons on it, or something that I can wear if I need to dress something up or an outfit and look nicer to go out or something like that. There's a little travel hack. Whatever is like the thickest, like that takes up the most space in your luggage, wear that to the airport. Obviously, if you're going somewhere different temperatures, it might be a little bit difficult, but I typically wear them, like my hoodie was the fattest thing to pack in my luggage, and I wore that to the airport to save space in my luggage. So that's a little travel tip for you guys. If you want to bring like a favorite jacket but it won't fit in your luggage, just wear it to the airport. But yeah, having this rotation mindset is really crucial when it comes to packing your clothes, because then there's nothing in your luggage that doesn't get used. You use everything and you look fresh on your whole trip. So when it comes to packing, just to round everything out, my key takeaway points is this. When packing, always ask yourself, will I use this item every day of my trip? If not, you should highly consider if it's worth bringing with you. Second thing, how large is this item and is it portable? If it's super large, it's going to take up a ton of space. It might not be worth bringing. If it's portable and it's small and it's compact, it might not be, even if you don't use it as much, it's not too big of an issue because it's compact and it's portable. So ask yourself that question when figuring out what to pack. And the last thing I want to share with you guys is just a tip, and this video isn't necessarily to help you guys become minimalist or minimalism, not necessarily, but it's more of like intentionalism or being intentional. So like packing your luggage with items that you're going to use, packing it with intention can really save space. Something that I usually do when I'm traveling is I try to challenge myself to bring the least amount of items possible. This has one time screwed me because I didn't bring enough, but in general, I like to challenge myself to try to bring the least amount of items possible to accomplish the trip and not feel like I didn't underpack. And so if I can do that, and you find that sweet spot for yourself, you'll feel so much better about packing. Packing will also be so much easier and less stressful. At least it has been for me. So figure out how you can be intentional with the items that you bring. Okay, the sun is slowly traveling to the window, so I'm gonna have to outro this video, or else I'm gonna be washed out right here and it's gonna look trash. So hope you guys enjoy this video. Thank you so much for watching. Everything I talked about in this video, if it was a product-based thing, I'll link it down below. And if you guys have any questions or need any travel tips, I'll try to answer to my best of my ability. And I appreciate you guys watching, taking time to sit here with me and have a little quick chat about traveling. So I think now me and Christine are gonna go get a coffee, a little espresso, and walk around Paris. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.